Mhm. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. My name is Brill, and what I do is I create pedestal wives. So let's talk about it. While everyone is getting into the room, one of the reasons why I want to have this conversation today is because a lot of women, well, like I said, a lot of women, but I keep seeing this very comment over a lot of my different pages. And since this comment is been seen by me multiple times, I felt like it was my duty as a pedestal wife to answer it. Women are asking me, how do I show a man that I am a good woman? So let's have that conversation. Because honestly, when it comes down to it, I don't think women understand how men vet. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how men vet. Uh, Men are smart enough to vet without women overdoing it. And that is the issue. Women think that we have to show everything, tell everything, over communicate. We have to do so many things to get the attention of a man. Today, what we're going to do, we have a discussion, and that's going to reveal itself. We have a discussion so you will understand that you are trying to show, do, in order to make this man see you as a good woman. And all you have to do is actually be. So, what did that look like? I really want to give you a vivid imagery of what this looks like. And this is how a lot of you all are looking, and this a lot of you are doing currently. Imagine two women, right? One woman is selling herself like a pushy salesperson. She's talking about, I have my education, I have money, I can cook, I can clean, I'm polite, I know I have great values, and she's selling all of these wares. And she's constantly just over and over and over talking about all of the things that make her a good woman. But then there's another woman that is attractive, that is beautiful, that is just standing there and being stoic to a certain degree. And that woman seems to have a line out the door. She is attracting men left and right. What is the difference? One woman is selling herself. One woman is talking about her education, her money, and how she would bring value to his life. She is talking about all these things. She's that pushy salesperson that you go when you go into a mall and you come across that woman that won't leave you be, won't let you shop in peace. She got to talk about all of the things they have coming in, all the sales they have coming up. And then you have this other woman who hasn't even really muttered a word. She's just quiet. She's just stoic. She's beautiful. She's gorgeous. And men are lined up around the corner. This is because men are smart when they're vetting. Men don't vet the communication, what someone says. Men vet the actions. So this woman is over here selling herself like that pushy salesperson. The other lady's just being. She's just being her authentic self. She's just being the good woman that she is. She's not really trying to sell herself. She's not trying to tell everybody her where. She's not trying to tell everybody what she's doing. She's not trying to over communicate. And the biggest difference between the two women is that one has mystery, one doesn't. One is using body language, mannerisms, and allowing me to observe her natural habitat, and another woman isn't. She's putting everything on display and being pushy about what she offers. She wants men to think she's a good woman. She wants men to have an idea that she's a good woman, but they're still being repelled by her. They're still being repelled by her. And that is because, see, men vet the action, not the communication. Men vet the mannerisms. Men vet the body language. Men vet the facial expressions. Men vet the way you handle yourself and how you interact with people. He doesn't, he pays attention to what you say, of course, but 93% of the communication that most human beings have is body language. That is 93%. 93% of communication is done before you even open your mouth. And that is what he's vetting. And this is why women do not understand why a man will pass by that woman who's selling her wares, who's constantly selling herself to him to get the woman who is stoic, who's beautiful, who is just being. She is being a good woman. She realized she doesn't have to show or do to be a good woman. A man is smart enough to vet, ladies. Stop attuning a man to a child that you think you have to actually sit here with little cards and tell him what you are. If you are what you say you are, he'll see that you are what you say you are. You don't have to do as much as you all are being taught that you have to do. You don't have to show him that you can cook. He'll be able to tell that. He'll listen to conversations. He'll listen to the things you say about food. He'll listen to those things, and he doesn't have to actually see it in the manner you think you do. And honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. Men have been marrying women since the beginning of time who cannot cook. I was one of them. Yes, I could not cook. I learned how to cook when I was 25 years old. That is when I learned how to cook. And I still was able to get married at 19. So men are vetting by body language, your mannerisms, and how you carry yourself. Those things are more important than you constantly trying to sell your wares. You're trying to sell yourself to a man. You're trying to show him that you are a good woman. You're trying to do the things that you think he wants, that represents a good woman. When the other girl, all that she's doing is being stoic, being beautiful, being attractive. She's just standing in the best version of herself. She is either on that journey or have already completed the journey. Well, the journey for inner work is a never-ending thing. So maybe she's still on that journey, learning more about herself as a woman, but she realizes that men are smart. They're adults. We treat them as such. We do not treat men like little kids that they cannot vet, that they won't be able to see what type of woman is in front of them. It is literally by a man is listening to, when you're on that first date, he is listening to the conversation, how you communicate. He's listening to, are you inappropriate? Are you loud? Are you just being extra? He's paying attention to that. Men vet the action, not the communication. Women are vetting the communication and not the action. This is the reason why 100% of the time, I will bet on a man being able to vet well. 100% of the time, a man will vet better than a woman will, because a woman, she's being seduced by words. She's being seduced by the communication. She's being seduced by fairy tales and romance. When a man, he can actually look at the mannerisms, the body language, and he observes. And this is what I want you all to take upon yourselves, and stop trying to be that pushy salesperson in the mall where you're constantly always talking about, I got this education. I got this degree. I bought this house. I bought this car. I did all of these things. And you think what you're doing is that you are enticing or attracting a man that is going to sweep you off your feet. And you're always befuddled and baffled, while the other woman who is stoic, who is beautiful, who is just being, just have them coming through in the line. She literally has a line coming her way because there's mystery there. There's mystery there, and she trusts him to vet and not try to overdo it. This is what I keep seeing. Women are overdoing it. You're doing too much. Women are overdoing it. You think that if you go overboard to show him who you are as a woman, that he'll be attracted to you, and then he'll put a ring on it. And I'm explaining to you, when you are that pushy salesperson in the mall, where you're always talking about what you bring and the value you bring, and you want to have all these things on display, it just shows desperation. It just shows insecurity. That is not attractive. That is not attractive. This is the reason why they will bypass your stand, where you're up here tooting your wares and talking about all of the great and wonderful things that you are as a woman, and they'll bypass you to the woman that's still a mystery. That she hasn't done all those extra things. She's not trying to cook him a meal. She's not trying to jump through hoops. She's not trying to prove herself to him. She's just being herself, her authentic self. And that is the issue. Men do not vet in the same manner that women do. Now, I want to give you a nugget, a way to help you in your dating process, in your vetting process, so you can kind of have a one-up on that guide when you're dating. First of all, men who date emotionally, men who have the time to date for love, the time to date for attractiveness, the time to date for lifestyle, for the time to date for a woman who's going to fit perfectly in his life. is a man who already has his empire built. He doesn't need you to help him build his empire. He has the time and the ability to date for attractiveness for a woman who's going to fit in his lifestyle. A man who dates logically, that man doesn't have that time. So he will literally put aside his own needs to date a woman who can give to his empire, who can help him build that empire. So you need to recognize, is this man dating emotionally, or is this man dating logically? You will be able to tell the difference. One man will be dating because he is attracted to you and you fit in his lifestyle and he's not asking anything of you. And then another man, he'll be dating for you to give to his empire because he wants to double his net worth. He wants more resources. He'll put aside his needs. He'll put aside the need to be even attracted to the lady in order to get those resources so that he can later on have the ability to date emotionally. So men that are dating emotionally, they have already built their empire. This is the reason why women should be dating logically. You need to be thinking along the lines, this man needs to be able to support and have resources for any children that we have out of this marriage. You can tell the difference between the way the men are dating. But let's get further down this vetting hole. Why not? Let's talk a little bit more along those lines, because that is one of the biggest questions that keeps coming up every single time. I have so many women always trying to ask me, how do I show him I am a good woman? First of all, don't try to show, don't try to do. Be a good woman, and you don't have to be a pushy salesperson. You don't have to constantly toot your own horn. You don't have to constantly talk about all of the things that you bring to the table. You don't have to talk about all of the wares that you're selling. When you are a good woman, you just are a good woman. A man is able and smart enough to vet these things. Since he relies more on his observation, the mannerisms, and the body language, those things tell him a whole lot more than all of the talking that a woman will do. And he'll look beyond that in order to see little things about how is she presenting herself. Is she clean? Does she smell good? Does her breath stink? Does her hands smell? Because some women don't wash their hands after they eat, so their hands tend to smell like food. He's paying attention to all of these little things. See, for men, they're able to vet well. Like I said, I would bet 100% on a man being able to vet a woman well versus a woman being a vetting man. Because when you look out here in these streets and on social media, you see men have vetted very well. They have women that's on their arm that will go the mile for them, that will jump an ocean for them, will give their last dollar for them. When you look over here on social media, you see other women literally are with men that wouldn't even jump over a puddle for them. They wouldn't even give their last dollar for them. Would let them die in the desert because they would not give them the last cup of water. That is because men vet well. And now we need to change the way we're vetting. If women would stop vetting emotionally, where you're looking for this fairy tale, this love story, this Disney song, this Disney play, or whatever you're looking for in your life, and start vetting for resources, then we will have a lot more success. See, a man is able to vet for that woman who will literally die for him. Women aren't doing the same. Women are not doing the same. And that becomes the issue. That becomes the problem. A man can literally use your mannerism, your facial expressions to be able to tell a lot about you. If you walk around always mean mugging, you always look like you're mad, you always look like something is just wrong, he can tell that she's having a bad day, or maybe she's not feeling good, or maybe something is wrong. See, men will read that body language, those mannerisms, and they read it very quickly. They understand it. 93% of the language that is communicated is body language. So they became a master at this. Instead of you all not learning body language, and you need to learn how to communicate with your body language. You need to learn how to communicate with your mannerisms. You need to learn how to communicate in that manner first before you start learning how to communicate verbally. Women know how to communicate verbal. We're great verbal communicators. We know how to say and use our words well. But what we don't know how to do is read the room. We don't know how to do is read body language. We don't know how to do is read mannerisms. This is important. And instead, if we would learn how to use those well, we can portray and say a lot without saying words, because that is how men vet. They don't sit here and rely on a whole bunch of questions. Ladies, pedestal wives, a lot of us may rely on a lot of questions to figure out who this man is. But men don't. They don't rely on asking a lot of questions or putting him in like an interview style date in order to get to know him. Men actually do rely on the mannerisms, your body language, the things you're not saying. And that is what adds up to the profile about you. See, so instead of us trying to do or show that we are a good woman, how about we try to be a good woman? How about we start that inner work journey, that self-discovery, so we can learn about ourselves as women, so we have total confidence that when we're moving and talking and being in our role as a woman, that we're confident in that role. We don't have to be like that pushy salesperson in the mall and try to sell ourselves to a man. We don't have to constantly tell men that, oh, I'm a good fit because I'm a Christian. I'm a good fit because I cook. I'm a good fit because I know how to clean. I'm a good fit because I believe in the same things you believe in. You don't have to do all that when you be. You don't have to do all that when you be a good woman. You're not trying to show or do to be a good woman. The little things what really adds up to the vetting for men. The little things, even little things such as him opening up the door. When he opens up the door, do you just walk through like you're a queen? Or when he opens up the door, you look back and you say thank you. Those things add up to your entire profile of what he's thinking about you. And if he's going to bypass you and go to that stoic, that beautiful, that gorgeous woman who has an understanding of who she is as a woman, she knows she doesn't have to sell herself because she is. She is that she is, so she doesn't have to sell herself or get on her speakerphone or toot her wonderfulness. Hello, pedestal wise. Stoicism mixed with dark femininity. That's fire. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Every time the messenger never disappoints. See, this is the problem of today. Women are dating based off of emotion, and the feminine men are dating off of logic. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the reason why the dating pool has pee in it. It's not very clean. It's not very sanitary because of the fact everything's upside down. Women are dating emotionally. They're looking for that love story, that Disney, that romance, and they're willing to give all the resources up or not require having resources just to have that. And then you got men. Men are also, they're not dating, they're dating logically also. So they're thinking about, okay, if she has resources and she's selling herself to me for these resources, oh, I want those resources. The thing is, let me explain what's another thing that I keep seeing is happening. If you sit here and you sell yourself, you tell him you have all of these wonderful things to offer him. You have an education, you have a home, you have these cars, you have a high-paying job, you have all these wonderful things to offer him. And then he accepts. And then you get married. You cannot walk it back once you're married to say, hey, just because I have all these wonderful things to offer you, you shouldn't want them. But hey, didn't you sell yourself because of the fact that you had all these wonderful things? Didn't you sell yourself to him on the premise of the fact that you're going to give you have resources to offer him to help him build his empire? So you can't get married or in a relationship with him and then try to walk it back. It doesn't work that way. It can be done, but you have a low success rate. Because when men get married, one of their things is they hope and pray that you do not change. And since they don't want you to change, they're not going to be expecting you to say once you get married, hey, I sold myself and told you that maybe I had all of these things to offer, but I don't want to offer them. I want to be a woman. I want to rest in my femininity. I just want to be. You don't do that. Don't do that. The relationship has a less of a success rate when you all do that. When ladies do that, when women do that, your marriage is going to have some issues for sure. What do you bring to the table? The thing is, like I said, from this point on, we're going to treat men like an adult. We're going to treat like they're smart individuals that can actually vet And they don't need us to actually sell ourselves and tell him what we bring to a table or what we have to offer. Because a man can men vet, boys not so much. Little boys, they're not able to vet. So they have to actually ask those questions. Or, like I said, a man is talking about what do you bring to the table. This means that he is dating logically. He is trying to figure out what do you bring to the table so that you can add to my empire. He wants to make sure that he's building an empire, making sure he earns his worth in society, and he's going to help. He wants you to help him do it. The thing is, once you get in that relationship, then you have to also be careful because then you become the come up woman. And once you become the come up woman, you can also become a divorcee. And then you become a divorcee, he's literally going to go out here and date emotionally so that he can get the woman that he's attracted to, the woman that fits in his lifestyle. And he's going to go off into the sunset with that woman. So you have to be careful allowing yourself to be with a man who dates dates logically. A man is dating logically. He's going to be more focused on those wares. He's going to be more focused on what you're selling or what you're bringing to the table. He's going to be more focused on what you're going to be able to do to help him build that empire. A man who is dating emotionally, he has the ability and the space to think about his feelings and his emotions and who's attracted to and does she fit in my lifestyle. Okay, Braille. So you said that we don't need to sell ourselves to a man. What do you recommend we do? Start the inner work journey. Some of us do not need to skip over that part. Some of us can start our inner work journey and date at the same time. But I can tell you, some of us need to just focus on the journey first. Get to know who we are as a woman. Be confident in us as a woman that we would never even think of how to sell ourselves. Because everything that he is evaluating is your communication. Excuse me, not communication. That's not the first thing he evaluates. It is your body language, your mannerisms, the way you communicate with others. He's paying attention to all of those things. That is how he vets. So you don't have to sell yourself. When you're at dinner, even on a first date, he may not ask a lot of questions. He may not ask a lot of questions of you. He may ask you basic questions about yourself, but he's going to pay attention to the interactions. How do you communicate with the server? How do you communicate with him? Are you polite or are you mean? Are you inappropriate? Are you loud? That is what he's going to be paying attention to. When he opens a door, do you just walk through like a queen or do you say thank you? He's going to be evaluating all of these little things. All of these little things leads up to him being able to vet you. So you don't need to sell yourself. All you need to do is get to know yourself as a woman, work on you, and that is all you need to do. You can be a good woman by being a good woman. You don't have to try to show or do or pretend. All you have to do is actually be. And that is the hardest thing for women when you haven't done that inner work. When you start doing that inner work, this comes a whole lot easier for you. It comes easier for you to realize that, hey, I might be doing too much. I am doing too much to get his attention, for him to see me. And if you find yourself being that woman that's constantly always trying to present a man with your wares, trying to present a man with the things that you do or tooting your own horn, then you need to go back to the drawing board and start that inner work. Start that process of getting to know yourself as a woman. So that way you'll move confidently as a woman that you know you have something to offer. It is up to him to vet and see the value in you. Realize that when you're dating a man, his vetting skills are so unreal. Like I said, I would bet 100% that a man can vet a woman very well and get the type of woman that he desires versus women. Because women might skip over that inner work part. And if you don't know yourself, anyone can tell you who you are. Anyone can change your trajectory if you don't know yourself. So that is what I recommend. I recommend inner work. I recommend you start that process so you can be that self-confident woman that knows she is a good woman and she can be, and she doesn't have to overdo it. She's not trying to go and clean up his entire house or cook him a 7-course meal or do certain things in order to prove to him that she is a good woman. She is just a good woman because she is being. She knows herself and understands herself. But you have to have an understanding of what that looks like for you. Because he's going to be able to vet you based off your body language, your mannerisms, the way you interact and handle situations in your life. A man can literally tell by the way who you hang around and vet you from who you hang around. If you're hanging around a whole bunch of ratchet and inappropriate people and going to inappropriate places, he's filing that away. He recognizes maybe you're unsure, or maybe you don't have a clear idea who you are, or maybe you just didn't choose your friends chose you. These things answer a lot of questions for him. And a lot of this is going over our heads because we still think that we should be doing or showing something. Just be. Figure out what that looks like in your life. Figure out what that is, what that means to you to be a woman. What does that mean to you, and what direction you want to go down when you're trying to grow? That is what I recommend. No wifey tryouts. You don't have to try out. There's no such thing when you're dealing with a man who is emotionally dating. When you're dealing with a man who is logically dating, he's going to want you to have wifey tryouts. He's going to want you to maybe cook him a meal, or maybe show him your place so he can see if you're clean. He's going to want you to do the wifey tryouts, but you don't have to do that if you have an understanding of men and how they vet. And this is how they vet. They literally vet and learn a lot by what you're not saying. That's the reason why a lot of us fail when we get in this position. He's vetting us. We repel him because we don't realize that he is not looking at our communication and how we have a conversation. He's looking at our actions. He's looking at the interactions. He's looking at the body language. He's looking at our mannerisms. He's looking at how we handle situations. And he's coming up with how he sees us. That is how he sees us. You can get so much by just watching someone's body language. You can get so much by listening to how someone interacts with another person. You can get so much by looking at how someone walks. Do someone walks with their head high, or do they walk slunched over? Do they walk around like this where they don't barely have eye contact, or are they looking at dead in the eye and they're sitting up straight? If you're sitting up straight and looking at that person in the eye, that's self-confidence. When you're bent over and you're looking at the ground and you're having a conversation, that shows that there's some insecurity there. A man is able to read all of that. This is the reason why you don't have to overdo it. You don't have to go out here and start cooking him a 7-course meal. You don't have to go and clean his apartment. You don't have to do all these little extra things that you're hearing or people talk about online. Because men can see through the fakeness too. This is the reason why I really don't think we give them the credit that they deserve. Men can see through the fakeness of all of that. And the ones who don't, it's because they saw it and they decided it wasn't worth, them not dating that person. A lot of times the ones who don't see through that fakeness, it's not because they didn't see it. It is because maybe that man is dating logically and he's willing to ignore some things so that he can get the woman to help him build that empire. So you can say a lot without saying anything. That is what I want to relate on this live stream today. You can say a lot without saying anything. Don't prove, just be. And that is what you have to do. Don't prove, just be. Realize that he is going to be vetting the way you interact, little simple things of how you even talk to the waiter. Are you being mean to the waiter? Are you being nasty to the waiter? Or are you being polite? Do you have etiquette? All of these tell him something about you. Even how you come into the restaurant. When you come into the restaurant, are you being inappropriate and loud, letting everybody know you're there? Or are you coming in and you make an entrance and it's a quiet entrance? People see you, eyes are on you, but it's quiet, it's dainty. Even the way you walk tells something about you. Are you walking fast, which indicates that you have somewhere to go, or you're in a rush? Are you walking slow, like you got all day? Everything that you relay that is not spoken counts a whole lot more than when you try to sell yourself. That is the thing that I want you to understand. If you didn't get anything else from this live stream, I want women to understand that. Everything that you're not saying counts more than what you really are saying. Because men will vet the action, not the communication. He will vet the action, not the communication. He is not concerned with all of your wares. He's not concerned with you tooting your own horn. He's not concerned with you having that education or having that property or having that money or knowing how to bust it down in the bedroom. He is not concerned with all of that you're saying. He is paying attention to the things you're not saying. That is the kicker. A lot of women don't understand that. They think they have to try out. They think they have to do the most in order to get the best man in the game. And I'm going to tell you now, the one who's doing the least, who is actually being, who is serving with her energy, her body language, her mannerisms, and just being, she is going to attract more men than the woman who is selling herself and tooting her own horn. The woman that is selling herself and tooting her own horn, she will get a man that is logically dating every single time. It never fails. The woman who is selling her education, selling her cooking skills, selling her housekeeping skills, selling all of these things about herself, she will get a man that is logically dating, because of the fact she has things that she can do to help him build that empire or obtain the empire that's going to give him value and worth in his life. But the other woman who is stoic, who is beautiful, who is attractive, who is being, she will attract men who are emotionally dating every single time. Why? Because of the fact that she understands men. She either on that journey of self-discovery, or she's currently she's completed it, but she's starting another level. Every time I've seen it, this has always played to be true. I've never seen a dynamic that was out of pocket in this manner, ever. That didn't work. So men who date emotionally, they have the space and the time to concern themselves about an attractive woman, a woman fitting in his lifestyle, a woman that he truly wants, his dream girl. A man who's logically dating, he doesn't have that space or time. He is still building. He has to create an empire. He has to make sure he increases his worth and value in the world. So he's going to get a woman who can help him do that. Ladies, always try to date the guy that is emotionally dating, not the guy who's logically dating. The logically dating guy, he's going to be wanting to know what you bring to the table, because you're going to help him build that empire. And the thing is, it is the woman that's going to attract the emotionally dating dude is the woman that is stoic, is beautiful, and is attractive, that understands herself as a woman. It is not going to be the woman that's selling herself. It is not going to be the woman that's overdoing it. It is not going to be the woman that is putting 7-course meals on the table in order to prove that she's a wife. It is not going to be the woman that's cleaning his entire apartment to show that she's a wife. It is not going to be the woman that is tooting on her own horn to show that she's a wife. It is going to be the woman that understands men, understands herself as a woman, and is self-confident and moves as such. She knows it's all of the little interactions that's going to be a part of the vetting. It's going to be the way you have a conversation with the waiter. It's going to be your entrance. It's going to be the way you walk. It's going to be who you hang around. It's going to be your body language. It's going to be your mannerisms. These are what's going to vet. And the men that are emotionally dating, they're going to be paying more attention to that than what you say. So you can walk around all the time talking about that you're a great cook. You can talk about you clean, you have great housekeeping skills. You can talk about even being a great mother. You can talk about all of these things. And the men that are, like, y'all like the term high value, the men that are high value, they're dating emotionally. And since they're dating emotionally, they have the time and the space to get what they desire and what they want. And that's going to be the woman that they're going to be able to read between the lines, not what she says. Because, see, I think a lot of women think, since we're very good verbal communicators, that men are, and they aren't. I've said this since the beginning of my page. Men they read body language. They read mannerisms. They even read energy. They read all of these things very well before they actually concern themselves about the communication, what you're verbally saying. Because anybody can say anything. Anybody can say that they're a good woman, a good wife, a good mother, a good cook, a good cleaner. Anybody can say they're good at something. But being it is a whole different narrative. If you're just being it, believe me and trust that a man will be able to vet and understand and tell that. You do not need to do the most. Women are overdoing it. They're doing too much. And then they wonder why he is still repelled by them and attracted to that stoic, that beautiful, that gorgeous, that self-confident woman. Because the thing is, let me explain to you why that when you're out here tooting your own horn and selling your wares and telling the man you're good at this and good at that, and you would make a wonderful wife, and you're repelling him. You're repelling him. He's not attracted to that. There is no mystery. A lot of times women are doing that because they're insecure in the things that they are saying. They're not sure in the things that they are saying. So they have to say it. They have to say it instead of be it. That's the number one way to see or identify a woman who's insecure, when she constantly is bragging or talking about all the things she's accomplished and all the things she's done, because she's insecure about the woman she is, or maybe she's confused about who she is. And these things are a telltale signs of an insecurity or unsurety, uncertainty. And that is what you're doing when you're out here selling yourself. You're relaying insecurity, uncertainty, and the thing is, men understand that when you have you marry an insecure woman, you're signing up for an insecure relationship. You're signing up for that woman to pass that information on to her children. A woman passes her self-confidence on to her children. A woman can also pass her insecurities to her children. And see, men understand this. So they are vetting for their the livelihood of the children that's going to come out of the relationship. So when you sit here and you sell yourself and you sell your wares, you're like that pushy salesperson. That every time you go in the store, they know about all the sales and discounts and want you to buy this or that or see this or that. Won't let you have a moment alone because they got to toot their own horn about the store and tell you what's on sale. Insecurity, uncertainty, all those things are relayed when you do that. And men are smart. They're deeper thinkers than you all want to give them credit for. They recognize if they marry an insecure woman, she's going to have some insecurities. And if he's a high value man that has to fly out or has to be gone a lot, that insecurity is going to come back to bite him in the butt. Because that insecurity, uncertainty is going to mean that you're going to either want a lot of attention. Maybe he doesn't have time for all that. You're going to want him to check in every hour. Maybe he doesn't have time for all that. So you're already telling on yourself when you try to sell yourself. When you try to sit here and sell your wares and let him know exactly what he's getting up front and in person. And then it shows another thing a lot of women don't really have a conversation about. It shows that you don't respect him as a man. But you don't think that he can vet. You don't think he can put the time and the mental energy to figure out what type of woman is sitting in front of him. It's very disrespectful. It's very disrespectful. But men won't tell you this. I'm going to tell you this because I care a lot about you ladies. I care about you pedal squads. I want you to be successful. I want you to get everything that you desire in this life. So I'm going to tell you the truth. I was raised, I've told y'all before, I've been around a lot of men. My entire family is mostly men. I'm married to a man too. And I love posing questions to him to why things don't work out. And this is how he put it to me. And this is how I'm going to relate to you all. Men who are dating logically, they don't have the time or the space to get or try to get with the woman that is attractive, or get with the woman he needs, or get with the woman that he really wants. He doesn't have the time or the space to be trying to date the dream girl right now. That's not his bag right now. But a man who is dating emotionally, he has the time, the resources, and the ability to date a woman he's attracted to and a woman who fits in his lifestyle. So pay attention to, how is this man trying to date me? Is he dating me in a manner where it's logical, where he is dating me and worrying about or concerned about my resources? Or is he dating emotionally, where he's just concerned about me being attractive and me fitting into his lifestyle and fitting into his program. And you can tell. You can tell. It's not something that is hidden or mysterious when it comes to how a man is presenting himself in dating. Doing the inner work helps you become the best woman you can be. Absolutely. Absolutely. Doing the inner work is the difference between those two women too. Because only the woman who doesn't understand that she's coming off as unsure, insecure, will continue to sell. But the other woman, she's doing that inner work. She's on that self-discovery. She's either on that path or she continuing that path. But she understands that all she has to do is be. It makes sense. Men read body language since they are visual beings. Absolutely. And they've become very good at it. This is the reason why, if you haven't been paying attention to body language, pay attention to your body language. Pay attention to how you're presenting yourself. When you go into situations, are you looking in the eyes? You know, you're not supposed to stare, right? But you should be able to look into someone's eyes. Or are you looking down all the time? Are you walking around looking at the ground? This tells a lot about you. Even though what you wear tells a lot about you. What type of outfits are you wearing when you go out and about? What are you wearing? Are you wearing see-through clothing? Or are you wearing like modest clothing? Are you wearing conservative clothing? What are you wearing? All of this tells a lot about you. And a lot of the thing, whatever you have on tells that story. A lot of us don't pay attention to the entire package. See, when you can just be a good woman and you already have an understanding of what that looks like, you just be. You don't have to sit here and try to sell yourself. You don't try to be something you're not. You don't try to be fake and phony. You just be. Braille is really ministering the ministry of family values. These lives cut through confusion. I had to admit and accept some factors, and that is okay with that. Absolutely. Think about how you're presenting yourself. Remember, a man is going to be reading your body language, your mannerisms, and your energy. Realize that men have become experts in that. So they're going to pay attention to what you're not saying. Some of us are trying to come up with certain things you can do to attract those men who are, high earners. But the thing is, they will be able to see through that. They can see through the fake and phony very quickly because they're not going to be paying attention to the things you're saying. They're going to be paying attention to the things that you're doing. They're going to be paying attention to the action, not the communication. And that is what they're going to vet. So if I was to sit up here and tell you specific things to say, it would be for vetting for you, but that wouldn't have anything to do how he's going to vet you. A man is going to vet you by the things that you don't say. That is how he's going to vet you. He's going to be paying attention to the little things that a lot of women don't pay attention to. Are you paying attention to how you present yourself? Are you paying attention to what you're wearing? Are you paying attention to your etiquette? Are you paying attention to any of these things? Or are you ignoring that, thinking that you're going to figure out some way to pull the wool over his eyes? Or you're just going to fake your way into being a good woman instead of just being one? One hurdle is I didn't realize it, but it grew in me. But rejection is not personal. It's really not to hurt anyone. If a person is not it, they are not it. We don't have to stay stuck. Absolutely. Y'all, let me tell you this. One of the things I can tell you, one of the ways for me to figure out that I was growing and the inner work that I was doing is that I stopped with the nonsense of truly believing that every man is going to want me. Every man is going to be attracted to me. When you get past that nonsense, to realize that you may not be every man's cup of tea, but you may be somebody else's. Then you know you've grown some more. You know you came this age before you learn that you're not every man's cup of tea. That is growth. That is inner work. Because I really do truly believe that a lot of times women are on these platforms and watching these videos because you want every man to be attracted to you. And unfortunately, that is not going to happen. You're going to come across some men that they're not going to be attracted to you. They're not going to see your value. They're not going to want to be with you in that manner. And that is okay. But there will be others. There will be plenty. There will be a plethora of other men that will see your value, that will see the woman that you are and value that and want to actually connect with you and want to marry you and who want to have a relationship with you. This is the reason why inner work is so important. Inner work is so important, and women need to actually start that journey. If a man asks you what you do for a living, is this a sign that he's logically dating? Yes. Yes. What you can do though, you can see how far he's willing to take it, to see if he's willing to go down that rabbit hole, and if he continues to talk about your education or what you own or trying to get more involved in your finances, then you know for sure. But majority of the men who are dating emotionally, they're not even concerned if you have a job. Like, that is something women don't talk about. There's literally been women who have been very successful getting married without even having a job. So that tells you that the man that they married was emotionally dating. A man can do that when he doesn't have to seek out resources. When he already has resources and he's already created the value that he has in this world, he doesn't need yours. And since he doesn't need yours, he has the time and the space to be able to say, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and date this woman because of her looks. I'm going to date this woman because she's going to be the perfect status symbol on my arm. She's going to be perfect woman in the way she looks and everything. He can actually date emotionally. He can date according to his feelings. But a man who's dating logically, he doesn't have that because he's still building. He needs an empire. He needs to have, when he leaves this world, he wants to have some type of legacy. He wants to have some assets, and he won't have that unless he dates logically. So you can tell if a man is dating logically or emotionally. Yeah, so if he asks you what you're doing for a living, I would, look at it as a red flag to see how far he's willing to go. Because logically, a man who's dating logically, he's going to continue to go on about your money, your assets, your resources, because he wants to know. He needs those resources, assets, and money. He needs all those things in order to build an empire. So he is not going to even want to date you or have a relationship with you without those things being there. And then when you sell yourself in that manner, like, I'm surprised that you all are surprised that if you sell yourself in this manner, that a man won't come that desires it. But if you sell yourself and your resources and toot your own horn, the man that's logical dating is gonna come, and he's gonna want what you're selling. He's gonna want that sale. Men who are logically dating won't bother the builders or they're stingy. Absolutely. I'm in total agreement. So trust that men are able to vet without you showing and selling yourself. Trust that they can read your body language, your mannerisms. There's so many ways that they get an understanding of who you are by the way you move. And a lot of women are not understanding that, or haven't been made aware that 93% of the communication is body language. That is how someone communicates before they even say a word. So men are experts at these things. So they're paying attention to you every moment. Like, they're paying attention how you walk, how you talk. They're paying attention to, do you say thank you? They're paying attention to, are you clean or are you stinking? Okay, are you stinking? Do your breath stink? They're paying attention to all of this in order to vet you. So for some reason, women think it's a mystery. It is not a mystery. Men vet by observing body language and mannerisms. That is how men vet. And they're smart vetters. I would say, like I said before, I would bet 1,000 on a man vetting and him vetting a good woman for him versus a woman vetting a good man for her. Because a woman, when she doesn't have an understanding of how to vet and what that looks like, she tends to make a lot of emotional and feelings and Disney and princess mistakes. So I would bet my bottom dollar the man can vet a woman and get the woman that he desires, compared to a woman getting a man that she desires. And you can see that in the dating world currently, that men are able to vet and get these women who are willing to give up their last dollar for them, who are willing to die for them, who go into thick depression over them. You can tell he vetted well. He vetted a woman who's all in. And we can do the same. We can, but we have to actually stop dating emotionally. We have to start dating logically. We have to actually start dating with the resources and the support of our children in mind. We can no longer afford to date emotionally. Dating emotionally is one of the reasons why men who have access to specific women shouldn't. This is the reason why you see it's uneven out here. It's uneven out here. It doesn't make sense out here. It's upside down out here. That is because women are dating emotionally, and women are supposed to date logically. This is literally evolutionary psychology. Women are supposed to date logically, and men are supposed to date emotionally. And when you see it in the opposite direction, this is what you have now currently. Inner work. Inner work is important. If you haven't started that journey, start that journey. Because there's no way, in no way, that you should be thinking on how to show or do to prove to a man that you are a good woman. This is something you instinctively, internally know that you are a good woman. And all you have to do is be to be a good woman. But if you don't know that, you think you have to do certain things or jump through certain hoops or sell yourself to him in order for that to be known. But then don't be surprised when you sell yourself that the man who's dating logically shows up and he accepts and he wants what you're selling. Baby, a man will look at what you're eating to vet how you're eating. Do you have your head buried in your plate? Are you eating like a savage? Are you eating like it's your last meal? Are you eating like you've never been to a restaurant? Or are you eating daintily, slowly? Are you eating and have etiquette skills? Like these things are being vetted. But some of you all think what you're saying and what you're selling is being vetted, and you would be so wrong. This is the reason why men can 1,000 times always vet for the woman that's for them and be able to get the woman that they need at the time because they can vet. They vet what she's not saying versus what she is saying. And women are vetting what he says. So he tells you he wants to marry you. Y'all are taking that to the bank. He tells you he's going to buy you a house. Y'all are taking it to the bank. He tells you he's going to buy you a new car. Y'all are taking it to the bank. A man would have never took that to the bank. They'd have been waiting on the car. When the car comes, then they're like, okay, she actually followed through. When the house comes, okay, she followed through. That is the biggest difference. Women are just communicating and thinking whatever somebody verbally says to them is what it is, not realizing it's the action you should be paying attention to. If you ask him to do something for you, did he follow through? Did he do it? That is what you should be vetting. Did he do it? Did he follow instructions? Did he give you exactly what you wanted? That is what you should be vetting. You should not be thinking it's a done deal because he said it. People say a lot of things. People say a lot of things, and they are not. Do y'all realize people will say that they are good women and that they know how to cook or they know how to do this and that and the other, but don't know how to do any of those things? That's the reason why what someone says does not matter. Pay attention to what they're not saying. That is the most important information. And men understand this, and women are still struggling with it. Is it safe to say the same way unlearned women are looking for an emotional match is the same way men vet for the emotional match in women? Or is it different? Or is it role reversal? I'm going to say this. When a woman is emotionally dating, she is not doing it in the same way a man is. Because when a man is emotionally dating, they both are looking for love, okay? They're both looking for people who believe in love, who think love is all they need. Because if love is all you need, love blinds people. So they're both looking for the same things, but they want different things from the relationship. A woman, when she's dating emotionally, she just want to be loved. She just want to be cared for. She just wants that man to care about her. When a man is dating emotionally, he is he's looking for love also, and he has the time and space to concern himself about love. He has the time and space to concern himself about being attractive. So they're still kind of wanting different things from it, but love is still the foundation. Love is still one of the requirements that they want out of the relationship. Do you recommend that we use social media to show off our taste, our lifestyle, and intelligence, our housekeeping skills, rather than talking about it with the man, or does it kill the mystery? I wouldn't use social media to do any of those things. A lot of women want the high earning men, and they don't care for social media. They really don't want their women up there like that in that manner, unless that woman is like a social media influencer or she's making money on social media. They prefer women not to be up there. So I wouldn't be up there trying to show or do anything, because a person can put a picture up on social media. It doesn't mean that it is such. It doesn't mean that this person can clean just because they put a picture of a clean room. So no, I wouldn't suggest that, not because the man is still going to vet you by what you're not saying. They're going to vet you by the things that they see about you. So I wouldn't even be concerned about that. And I know that there is an extreme focus on showing a man that you can cook and clean. There's an extreme focus on that. And I keep trying to figure out, where does that come from? Why do you all think the sum of being a good woman or a good wife is that you can cook and clean? When there's so many areas and so many, different arenas to a woman than cooking and cleaning. And honestly, every man doesn't, most men that understand a good woman, that is not their most concern. This is how I know that either this is a narrative that social media has cooked up, or it's been, or maybe somebody's mother has told them that old-fashioned thing about through the way through his stomach is through to his heart, and that's not true. That is not true. You can keep feeding him and keep putting 7-course meals on the table. It doesn't mean you're gonna get his heart. It just means you can cook. And it just means he ate a meal. It doesn't mean you're gonna get his heart. And I think we need to lay down those old-fashioned ideas. We really do need to lay down those old-fashioned ideas that the only way to be a good woman is to know how to cook and clean, and we have to show that. Because the thing is, a man will still go around and marry the woman who can't cook, doesn't clean, period. They'll still marry that other woman. And why is he marrying her? He's marrying her because he has the emotional space to actually concern himself with love and attractiveness, and her being able to fit in his lifestyle. That's why he married her. It's not because he can cook, or she can cook, or that she can clean. Now, I ain't saying it's a bad thing. Everybody should be able to clean their own space. We want clean women out here, of course. And there's nothing wrong with knowing how to cook. But when you use that as a shield to say, oh, I'm a good woman because I can cook and clean, then I know for sure, in fact, that you don't understand being a woman. Because we have so many other differences to us than other just cooking and cleaning. A lot of men have been asking, it's very similar to what you bring to the table. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing is, I would be honest and say that if they're pushing cooking and cleaning, that is more of a emotional dating man. That's more of a lone emotional dating man. Because a man who is, not an emotional dating man. There's more of a logically dating man, because a man who is logically dating, he doesn't have to. I think I still got it confused. I've been talking about it too long. I'm getting hungry. I start getting everything confusing. A lot of men have been asking, okay, I just answered that question. But a man who is dating emotionally, he is going to be looking for more of attractiveness. Do you fit in his lifestyle? He has the time and the space and the resource to look for those things. He has the time and the space and the resource to be concerned more about love. A man who is logically dating, he doesn't have that time or the space because he doesn't have those resources. He is trying to build that empire. And if a man is asking you about building, what do you bring to that table? Then you already know that man is logically dating because he needs you to cook or clean, or maybe that's going to add to his life in some way in the first place. This is the reason why you'll see a lot of men that are high earners. Their wives don't even cook or clean. They have a maid and they hire out for a cook to come in. So I wouldn't use social media to show off anything because they're not going to take it at face value anyway. Like I said, men read between the lines. They're looking at body language, mannerisms, and energy. So since they're reading between the lines, you could put up a picture all you want to, and it's not going to phase them. Only thing that's going to tell them is that maybe you like to be on the internet a little bit too much, and that's not their cup of tea. All right, so I don't see any other questions, and now I'm getting hungry. I'm starting to get hangry, and since I'm getting hangry, I need to eat so I can stay on task. All right, but my whole point here is stop trying to figure out how to show a man or do. Just be. Just start that inner work process so that you will understand yourself as a woman and what that looks like. Understand your value and understand that you bring what you bring to the you should understand what you bring to the table and stop trying to show everybody what you bring to the table. That showing and that doing is killing the mystery. It shows in uncertainty and insecurity. That is the reason why it's not working and it will never work. It's about the intangibles. It's the woman herself. It's the woman herself. Thank you so much, Pedestal. It is the woman herself. It is the woman herself. When I was out here dating, I wasn't out here showing him, well, I couldn't cook anyway. Y'all, did y'all know I couldn't cook? I've been married 21 years. I couldn't cook. I couldn't cook. I would burn water. My husband still loves telling the kids a story about me burning Pop-Tarts. I couldn't even cook a simple Pop-Tart. Every time I touched the oven, it seems like everything would burn. So I could not cook. So I wasn't out here showing him I could cook. When I met him, he went to my home. He did go into my home, but it wasn't like perfect. It wasn't magazine perfect, and he still wasn't as concerned about that. But the thing is, he was dating emotionally. And since he was dating emotionally, he didn't have to concern himself about my resources and what I brought to him. He was able to date where he can be with an attractive woman, a woman that fits in his lifestyle. So I wasn't out here doing the most. I wasn't out here creating 7-course meal or learning how to cook because I could not cook. I wasn't out here going to clean his house and all these things. I wasn't out here doing the most to get his attention to prove that I'm a good woman. He literally got into my car and he saw how clean it was. And y'all don't realize that's another way he's looking at. He looks at how you present yourself. Are you clean? Do you smell good? Do you take care of your skin? Do you take care of the things that you have? Do you take care of your car? Is your car junky? Does your car look like somebody living in it? These things tell a man a lot about you. These things add up to him being able to bet who you are. You don't have to show or sell yourself because all you have to do is be a woman. Be a good woman. Be a good woman to the version of the good woman that you want to be. Don't worry about what you think a good woman is. Be a good woman. All these things, all these little things just add up to his vetting skills. This is the reason why 100% of the time, men can always vet the woman they need and get her. For men who are dating emotion, does this mean they are emotionally available? Yeah. Most of the time they are available. Most of the time now. I ain't gonna say all of the time because all men are not alike. Like all men are not alike. Okay. I just want to give you all a way to help you while you're dating and vetting, so you'll be able to recognize if this man is dating emotionally or logically. And this way, you will be able to turn around that dude that is dating logically. Like we tell so much about ourselves without speaking. If you pay attention, you can tell a lot about someone. Just even when you watch YouTube videos, you can sum up a lot of things about a person. That is what a man is doing. That is what a man is doing. When you watch a YouTube video and the way that woman is talking, the words that she's using, you might can tell she's educated. You might can tell that she maybe she's not self-confident, or maybe she don't have an understanding of the topic that she's talking about. You can tell a lot by a person if you all just pay attention to these things. Pay attention to how you're presenting yourself. How you presenting yourself. Because he's reading those things. He's reading in between the lines. Just because you tell him you're a good woman, he's watching, seeing if you being a good woman. All right, so I don't see any other questions, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because I am hungry. I'm hungry. It's time to go to lunch. It's time to eat. All right, so I don't have anything else, and I don't really see any other questions, and I'm going to go ahead and close this live stream out. I'll see you all on the next one. Y'all have a great one. Bye.